In the words of hip-hop legend Phife Dawg, sit back, relax, and listen to some sports. No, is that not it? Well, it works for the show. Welcome to a brand new episode of Primetime Sportz. I am your new anchor, Caleb Johnson, and today is National Jersey Day, which hopefully explains my threads. With that being said, we will move right into this week's news. The women's golf team spent the early part of this week out on the range down in Lakewood Ranch, Florida. After finishing 8th in the Invitational, reporter Jasmine Presley met with Coach Kathy Mant to discuss the team's season thus far.
The Georgia State women's golf team concluded their fall season this Sunday at the Pat Bradley FIU Invitational in Lakewood Ranch, Florida. The team had good momentum going into the Invitational for the second year in a row under Coach Mant. Under the direction of the winningest coach in team history, the team improved from 10th place in last year's FIU Invitational to 8th place out of 14 this year.
Well, it's a great course where we play down there at FIU. Lakewood Ranch, the golf course is in great shape, and it was fun to be back. And to note the improvement that we had this year from last year was exciting. Normally you have 4 tournaments in the fall. We had 6. So our kids were really pushed to the max as far as staying up with schoolwork and physically just tired, this being our last tournament of the season.
Moving forward, the team is focused on what they can improve for the next season.
Well, we will continue to work on short game. Lag putting is a big thing. Distance control with our wedges as we're coming into holes is going to be really, really important for us, and we're working very diligently on our mental game, mental preparation.
The Panthers will start their spring season next February at the Amelia Island Collegiate. For Primetime Sportz, I'm Jasmine Presley.
Men's golf had some green of their own to defend this week as they battled in the UNCG Bridgestone Collegiate Classic out in Greensboro, North Carolina. Sophomore Nick Budd walked away from the tournament a champion for the first time in his college career. Primetime Sportz' own Nathan Nair caught up with Nick to touch on the win.
A monumental day for sophomore Nick Budd as he got his first collegiate win, finishing 12 under par at the UNCG Bridgestone Collegiate this past week. Budd was tied with 2 other players for the lead at 8 under par on day 1. He eventually pulled away on day 2 to become the 18th player to win an individual title at Georgia State. The win wasn't something Nick expected to achieve early on in his career.
Well, it's definitely exciting. Something I expected to do, but not this year. I was just trying to gradually work up and see if I could compete with the big guys. It was great capitalizing on playing good golf. It's definitely just another step. Try to win this next week coming up in Hawaii.
With the win, Budd knows that he has illustrated the way for other members on this team.
I think the guys look at it as I play with him every day, and he just won. And he doesn't do anything that I can't do. So I think they look at it as more, well, he can win, why can't I win? And I think they'll take that and run with it.
As Nick touched on, the team travels to Hawaii this weekend to partake in the Ka'anapali Classic. This will be the final tour of the fall semester for the team. For Primetime Sportz, I'm Nathan Nair.
Senior night for men's soccer also took place this week, and while there might have been some tears shed for the guys playing their final home game, the tears did not last long as the Panthers continued their dominating win streak. Reporter Gawan Bay gives us the details.
Coming off 4 consecutive wins, the GSU men's soccer team is hosting Hartwick for its final home game. As the team heads into its last stage of the season, the Panthers have scored a total of 33 goals. In addition, goalkeeper Yannick Korn has 51 saves. Amiri Abraham, Hassan El Haddad, and Casey Schultes were recognized for the senior night event. Casey Schultes kicked a cross which Kyle Clinton headed into the net to make his 3rd goal. 6 minutes after the first goal, Casey Schultes shot off from midfield, also scoring his 3rd goal. Hannes Baumeister continued to lead the team as he dribbled past the goalkeeper, scoring his 10th goal. Few seconds into the second half, Liam Fitzsimmons kicked a free kick which Hannes Baumeister deflected it into the net once again. The Panthers have dominated their senior night with a complete victory of 4-0.
To be on senior night and have a lot of family here and a good crowd and stuff is just incredible. So it's been an absolute blessing. So thankful for these guys and this coaching staff. So it's been unbelievable.
Coming up for Panthers is the Sun Belt Conference Tournament, which starts on November 10th in Atlanta. For Primetime Sportz, I'm Galon Bay.
Last night, the Panther football team blacked out the Georgia Dome for their game against Sun Belt rival Arkansas State. And while honestly, I'd rather black out this game from my memory, as it was tough watching the Panthers fall 31-16 to the Red Wolves. Let's see how we got there. Team walking in the dome as they black out the game. Panthers' first drive. Kendrick Dorn over the middle, and he would leap over the linebacker. Wow, so impressive. But the drive stalls. Arkansas State, Warren Wand with the run. And man, was he cutting up the defense early on. That would lead them to a field goal. But J.D. Houston, he misses the 42-yarder. On the next set of downs, Connor Manning looking, finds Todd Boyd, and man, that was a tough tackle. But that's okay. All right, Arkansas State had theirs, but the Panthers would respond with a big defensive play of their own. Bobby Baker says no to Ward. That would cause them to settle for a 24-yard field goal, but it's no good again. Arkansas State struggling to kick field goals. Later in the first, DeMarcus Kirk, he bumbles and rumbles through, getting a first down. But Connor Manning drops the snap there and causes problems. Connor Manning, though, later looking for Glenn Smith, but the corner tangles up with him. But we get the flag. Thankfully, the ref throws the flag. That's 15 yards and a new set of downs for the Panthers. So what will Connor Manning do with this new set of downs? Connor Manning, he will step back, look over the middle, and it's intercepted. So frustrating. Picked off by Blaze Taylor. Nothing happens for the Red Wolves, and Georgia State goes on to kick a field goal, and Rohirton Lohaus says this one is good. Red Wolves later on would go on to make a big pass over the middle to Kendall Sanders. That's a 32-yard gain. That would set up a 30-yard field goal that finally JT Houston hits, tied up at 3-3. Later in the second quarter, Justice Hansen, he's going to fumble the ball. Panthers fall on it, but they can't recover. Just frustrating for the Panthers. Unable to recover. And now the Panthers go to kick a field goal, but it's blocked. And oh no, that's Chris Humes taking it back to the house. He would score and put Arkansas State up 10-3. So frustrating. Connor Manning says, I'm kneeling this ball, getting into the halftime, and hopefully we can figure things out in the third quarter. Arkansas State in the third, though, would get sacked. Chris Middleton. And man, does he look excited. The linebacker, he got some on that play. Whew. Next drive for the Panthers, though. You've got to see this catch. Look at the top of the screen. Robert Davis will make this catch, just bouncing it around in his hands, but he stays in bounds and gets extra yards. We've got to see that play one more time. Just look how he's able to hold on, stay in bounds, and get extra yards. Same drive. Manning, who is he going to throw to? Close to the end zone. They need a score to tie this ball game up. What will Connor Manning do here? He will drop back and find the trusty tight end. Keith Rucker gets the score. The game is tied at 10, and Georgia State is right back in this. But it wasn't that easy. A botched punt for the Panthers would put Arkansas State close to their end zone, and Ward would punch it in at the 1. Wolves are up 17-10, Punt here by the Panthers, and this would be Blaze Taylor returning it, getting around the end. He's open, but he's still got defenders in his way, but he gets around them. And he gets into the end zone. 68-yard punt return. Now Arkansas State is up 24-10. But on the next ensuing play, Trey Barnett gets through. He's around the corner. There's no one in front of him. Green pastures. The boy is going to the 20, to the 10. Touchdown. 90 yards for Trey Barnett. And that puts the Panthers up 24-16. And you think the point after they could make, but no, that gets blocked. The Red Wolves thankfully get stopped. But now we're in deep in the fourth quarter. Panthers unable to do much. And here on third down, the Panthers are stopped. That would push them back to a fourth down with that sack. The Red Wolves score here, put the team up 31-16. Here's Coach on the loss. So frustrating.
Well, very disappointing result. Very disappointing special teams performance tonight. I think our defense, again, rose to the occasion and played well. But when you give up a blocked field goal to take the lead at the half for a touchdown, a punt return for a touchdown, a bad snap on a punt that led to a touchdown deep in our own territory, a blocked extra point. We didn't give ourselves a chance, to win the football game because of our own miscues in the special team. Again, I will say this, the offense was not great. We haven't been great all year long. You need to score more than 16 points in a game at this level. Should be at least in the 30s. And so we've struggled a little bit on offense, but they put up enough if we do our job on special teams that, we don't lose that football game. Or at least we're in a position at the end much better than we would have been. There's a lot of positives about our defense. I mean, Shandon Sullivan and Jerome Smith play as good as any two corners in our conference. I mean, those guys are locked down guys. Yeah, every now and then the team's going to get something on them. This is college football. That's just the way it works, But I've got nothing but praise for our defense. Got nothing but praise for our defense. We're not as good as we need to be on offense. We were horrible on special teams, and that's it in a nutshell.
I'm here with Joey Redmond so we can talk a little bit about this frustrating football game. Obviously, you can see Coach Miles just, I don't know, I feel like he feels a little helpless that they were coached, but the special teams plays just didn't work out for them. What do you have to say about this?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Special teams was the problem yesterday. Coach Miles made that very clear. I mean, at some point, he actually calls, the special teams performance embarrassing. To hear that from your head coach, that's deflating, to say the least. And he's talking about a whole unit. He's calling everybody out. He even talks later on in a different soundbite that we're going to find people who can make the right blocks. We're going to find people who can, contain the punt. Almost like he's saying, we don't have that right now, or we're going to go to practice and reevaluate who our starters are and what our lineups are and how we organize our depth chart. This was one I think Trent Miles really took to heart because for all intents and purposes, they're no longer bowl eligible. And there was a huge expectation this season after going to the first bowl game last season that we were going to come back and we were going to maybe win something. It seemed like the team had a lot of momentum. We lost a lot of incredibly important players in this offseason, but nonetheless, I think the coaching staff, Trent Miles especially, you could see it in his attitude, you could see it in that post-game interview that I think that's what he was gunning for. And losing yesterday, it took them out of the equation.
So did you see any positive things that you can take away from this game?
Yeah, positives. Look, the defense was awesome again. The defense was awesome. They really were. They're always good. And you can look at the score and you can say, 31-16. That Georgia State defense finally collapsed. Not in the slightest. Because if you break down the scoring drives, Arkansas State never got to the end zone without assisting or an assist by the Georgia State special teams. Because they kicked a field goal, right? Arkansas State kicked a field goal to go with 3 points. They scored their first 3 points. And then after that, they had the blocked punt, which set them up at the 1 yard line inside the 5 to get their first offensive score. So didn't have to drive down the field there. And then you had the field goal that was blocked. That was taken back for a touchdown. Then you had the punt that was blocked. That was taken back for a touchdown. The punt that was not blocked, but the punt that they got and took it back for a touchdown. Yes. And then at some point at the end of the game, Georgia State, they failed on a 4th and goal or 4th and short at their own goal line to set up Arkansas State within the 5.
Yeah, and they were forced to go for that on 4th down because you're around 2 minutes.
Down, yeah.
And you got to get something going, and it just doesn't. It seems so frustrating to see the Panthers lose a game like this. Where does the team go?
From here, the team's got to get healthy. The team's got to get healthy because, like I said, the defense wasn't the problem. It was special teams giving up short fields and giving up big points for Arkansas State to win the game. Honestly, we would have won the game if the special teams showed up. We would have won the game. Arkansas State was held to 3 points, 3 legitimate points. That's it. We could have won the game 3-16. That'll win you a ball game.
Yes.
5 sacks by the defense. 41 yards lost in those 5 sacks. I mean, that's half the field. The defense was on it. And even on offense, we outplayed Arkansas State on offense. We had more rushing yards with 94-93. We had more passing yards, 237 passing yards to us, 212 passing yards to them. We even had more kickoff return yards, which you think would be weird because apparently we didn't do good and it was all special teams for Arkansas State, but we actually had a kickoff return for a touchdown at some point to help us kind of narrow that gap. That was our 16th point, and then we had a blocked point after. Thank goodness we have a tight end who can tackle. Yes. Otherwise, we might have seen more points scored by special teams on behalf of the Red Wolves. So it looked like it was a big problem of no one was showing up. No one was showing up. And the team has to go over here. They got to get healthy because a lot of people are out. Quarterback play was hurting. Connor got hurt late. Aaron was hurt this game. He didn't play at all. I think Coach Miles would have liked to have him in, but it was an ankle issue even though he was dressed out for the game. I'm frustrated with him. I'm sort of getting caught up in my words because I'm frustrated with him, and you want to have a lot of sympathy for the team, but at the end of the day, they just can't click on every side of the ball.
Well, now I do want to ask you about something that doesn't make sense with a 2-7 team, and with all of our offensive struggles. There's a bit of a shining light in our offensive production when it comes to the red zone, and it doesn't make a lot of sense with this 2-7 team.
Yeah, we're 95% in the red zone. We score 95% of the time in the red zone. What's the exact number? 18 for 19. We've been in the red zone 19 times this season. We've scored 18 times. And 63% of those times, that's more than half, in case you didn't realize, we score touchdowns. We're not settling for field goals on short yardage plays inside the red zone. We're scoring touchdowns. We were 2 for 2 in the red zone yesterday, excuse me. So we just got to get the ball downfield. And when you lose receivers like Penny Hart, and when Robert Davis is banged up, and when your tight end is banged up, and when you can't get a consistent running game going, and when you're always rotating quarterbacks, you're not going to get the chemistry in order to do those things. And it's the biggest problem for the offense. It's why I said they got to get healthy. They got to get out there. They got to get healthy. And Coach Miles, he had a lot of issues with, a lot of things to say about the issues of health, even referring again to the fact they're on like their 4th long snapper.
Yes.
Who does that? And long snappers aren't necessarily going to win or lose you games, even though today the long snap play did end up giving Arkansas State a touchdown in a short field. But that's not like the end game. You got to get healthy across the board. And it's at this point in the season, you almost don't have sort of out of time to do that. But it is something that they got to do, even if it's planning for next year.
What do you say about them going into Louisiana Monroe next week? I mean, is there any positive anything?
It's hard to say because I don't know who's going to play quarterback. Frankly, I mean, Connor got hurt real bad at the end of the game, and they kept him in because they had to, because Aaron wasn't healthy either. I mean,
he was limping around.
He was dressed, but he was limping, and they had Parks as the 3rd string, but. I mean, in the postgame interview, Coach Miles did talk about how he did get a lot of reps in preparation. So maybe we'll see a Parks appearance if the quarterbacks aren't healthy. I mean, maybe they'll split time to try and take some of the burden off of Connor so he can heal. It looked like it may have been a rib when he got smashed. He was having a hard time breathing while he was sitting on the ground. It's brutal, and it's hard to say because I don't know who's going to play quarterback. If the special team shows up and the defense is always going to show up, I think we might be able to pull it out. I really do, because again, we hold them to like 3 legitimate points. And good teams. We've never beat Arkansas State. We could have, if not for the special teams. So it's those little things, those little fundamental things, and when you can't hit the fundamentals right and you're this deep into the season and you also don't know who your quarterback is, it's hard to make a call. I hope they win, but because of all those points, I don't think we're going to do it. I think we're going to see a 2-8 team.
All right. Well, we're going to transition from football into basketball because, football season is wrapping up here, but basketball season is now just starting. Our own Malik Brown spent some time this week out at Media Day for the men's team to see how this season is shaping up.
It's Media Day at Georgia State, which means the basketball season is here, and players and coaches are excited for the new year. After a 3rd straight season with a winning record, last season didn't end the way the team wanted it to. The offseason was a busy one for the Panthers, as they lost some key pieces, but also had some major additions. One addition in particular was assistant coach Charmin White. Charmin was the basketball coach for Miller Grove High School in Lithonia before joining Ron Hunter's staff. He led the school to 7 state championships in 8 seasons, including the state record 6 in a row from 2009 to 2014. He spoke about the transition from high school to college.
I would have to say these are grown men, more so. So you have to treat them like grown men and make sure they're getting the things they need to be able to develop and get better, not only on the court, but off the court.
Guard Isaiah Williams and Coach Hunter had nothing but positive things to say about Charmin.
Coach White is a great coach. He won 7 championships in high school, so he's a big addition to our team.
You know, when Coach White left Miller Grove, the number one reason I brought him here so somebody else won a state championship. He won 6 of them, so we thought we would just try to even it up. But no, he's been terrific.
The beginning of the season could be a real challenge for the team as they play a pair of NCAA tournament teams from last year and take a trip to Cancun, Mexico.
The schedule is brutal. We've got to put this schedule together. When you play at Mississippi State, you got to go play at Purdue, who's a top 10 team in my opinion. You got to go play at Middle Tennessee, which is, of course, won a game last year in the NCAA tournament. So, again, there's a lot that we've got to accomplish. We wanted a tough schedule early.
Despite the schedule, Coach is looking forward to the new season.
I'm going for Friday. College basketball is here. Let's get this thing rolling. I'm ready. I'm going to go get another energy drink. This is the best time of year.
The first exhibition game is tonight against USC Aiken at 7 o'clock. For Primetime Sports, I'm Malik Brown.
As you can see, there are so many great events going on for Georgia State sports. We love it on this show, and we hope that you do too. Make sure you're getting out and supporting your fellow Panthers. And hey, while you're at it, you can support us by subscribing to our YouTube page where this show comes out every Friday. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at Primetime Sportz with a Z. Thanks for being with us on this show. We hope to see you back next Friday. Take care.